How do we prioritize when we have many tasks?
True. That's a very good point. To answer this, there is a beautiful saying, goes like this. If you want to get your work done, request a busy person, but not a lazy person. I am repeating it very carefully. If you want your work to be done, better to request a busy person rather requesting a lazy person. So that means it is very clear that if you really start requesting a busy person, somehow he or she will manage. Even though there is no time, very tight, but will be able to manage. Whereas a lazy person has got all time, but will not be able to do either. So now let us take this particular popular version, popular saying, why and how it happens. This is your question. This is very simple. For you 24 hours, for me also 24 hours. For a 4th grade employee 24 hours, for a CEO also 24 hours. So day is always a 24 hours, even though yearly 2 times, sometimes 1 hour less, sometimes 1 hour more. That we have done the sunlight saving, what not. Some days, only one day 23 hours, one day 25 hours. But in general, for everybody, that almost, not exactly 24 hours, almost to 24 hours. I am just talking technically, okay? Almost 24 hours. Now, if this is the truth, why I am not able to do many things? That I need to ask myself. It is exactly, if you observe, a restless, I am sorry to use this wrong example, but very rude and strong example. It is better to observe a restless street dog. 24 hours busy doing nothing. But if you ask the dog, if you know the language, if you can talk to him or her, definitely that dog will say, I am busy. Forget about the dog, that's another. Let us talk to the youngsters. That's a typical, answer. Hey, will you do this thing? I am busy. What for you are busy? What are you doing? Don't ask. Maybe busy on the phone, or hanging around, or doing nothing. Means is very clear. Each one of us is busy with our priority. Without knowing how to prioritize. Please be careful. Each one of us is busy with our priorities without prioritizing. And when we are busy with our priority, definitely after some time, we understand that was not my priority either. That's why you can see very clearly and carefully. More than physically you are exhausted with reference to any given work, most of the time you are mentally exhausted. I am repeating it again. Instead of physically exhausted or physical exertion, most of the time you are mentally exhausted or drained. So whenever there is mental draining takes place or happens, it means you have not, or you are not capable, or really you do not know, or you did not know, whatever language you may use, to fix your priority. And when you are not able to fix priority, it is like you do back and forth. And as you do back and forth, what we call, back to square, back to pavilion. That's why I have seen it many cases, especially parents. In fact, that is how we have been brought up. I personally was brought up in that way. They will say, hey, don't worry, let him go, he will be back to the pavilion, don't worry. Back to the square. They are so confident, okay? Every parents also think that way, that my child cannot decide, cannot do it. They think that is their problem. Point is here, very clear. When you are not able to fix your priority, because all your engagement is mainly, not completely, mainly based on your insecurities, your based on competition, proving attitude, but very rarely you have your priorities related to growth, related to contribution, related to the maturity, related to all sort of healthy growth. That's why we say very carefully that when your priority is based on or related to other than this healthy attitude or healthy growth, with reference to not only priority or getting fulfill the priority or reaching the target, also while working you are restless. There is some type of rejection in you. There is the tendency of proving. There is all sort of, you can think of manipulation, complication, all sort of difficult words that happens or mental difficulties you go through. So in short, we all have same time, but if we really understand how to prioritize, and the key is here, my first priority in life is to see my growth. So when I say to see my growth, that means yes, to see my growth, financial growth, to see my social growth, to see my physical growth. These are not to see growth. This is called to show my growth. You understand? Financial growth is to show off others. Physical growth, of course, to show off others. Social growth, to show off others. So always we are working to show off our growth. But here my first priority is, and that should be my priority, that to see the growth for me. Not anybody, including so-called family people. It is me who should see my growth. I am the best judge of myself. But all of us are best lawyer for ourselves and worst judge for others. But here I must become a judge for me, for myself. It is not self-condemning. It's, please understand. It is understanding where I stand, how I function. Is it really for me growth? I do look at myself personally. In each and every incident, I do share with me myself. I do take off for some time, even if a few seconds sometimes. Even if I spend some time talking to any one of you, anytime, I also reflect to make sure, is it my real priority or not? Am I getting carried away or not? Please understand, I am very clear in this regard. Because it takes a fraction of a second. I can say, hey, I am a Swami, nonsense, stupid, shut your mouth, okay? This is called again cheating myself. It's not like that. Because mind is so smart, so intelligent. And on the top of it, with the same mind, I am trying to handle mind. So that's why every time I need to check that whether this is my priority or not. Am I deviating or not? Am I here to prove something to someone or not? Am I competing with others or not? Because from competition, jealous and lot of other complication comes that you know better. Some other time we'll talk. That rejection, because of competition, rejection comes. Because you cannot accept. Lot of other complication comes. So, all the time I'm using the word I, okay? Then conveniently, wow, Swamiji talks about himself. We are free, okay? Because I cannot hit you directly saying you, that's why I'm using the word I, okay? So that I also can hit myself. However, when I really look at myself carefully, I need to see my growth every moment. And moreover, when I go to bed, seeing my growth, please understand. When I go to bed, seeing my growth, not showing my growth, that time I sleep peacefully. Whereas if I go to bed showing my growth, exhibiting my growth, which is called proving, rejecting, accepting, doing this, doing that, you know better, all this competitive world. Definitely, while going to bed, there is a lot of calculation. So in short, it is not all about time, but it is all about understanding your goal and prioritizing. If you know this, that understanding the goal and prioritizing, you will be most effective person. In fact, less input, more output will happen. Or else, you will exactly work or live like street dog, busy all the time for nothing.